Nowakowski, ici présent, qui va donc nous parler d'intelligence artificielle. In English. Petite information, si vous êtes bilingue, tant mieux. Si vous n'êtes pas bilingue, vous avez normalement un casque. Il suffit de switcher sur le canal 2 pour avoir la traduction en français. Si vous n'avez pas de casque, vous pouvez le trouver à l'entrée. Il y a une personne, voilà, la personne qui lève le bras juste ici, pourra vous donner un casque. C'est tout bon.
Okay. Hello. Hello, good morning everybody. My English will be very understandable for everybody because I don't want to make any effort to speak in a good and speaking English. So my second aspect is all my slides are in French, so you can switch between the two languages. Today I would like to talk about artificial intelligence, and I would like to focus on many problems and many ideas. I think it's very important to have to understand what is the challenge of artificial intelligence today. So, yes. First, I would like the topic of my talk will be the connection between artificial intelligence and art. What is in goal when we are talking about art, when we are talking about creativity, when we are talking about innovation, and what are the links we can have between artificial intelligence and the ideas of creativity, which is, from my side, belonging to the humankind. So, after this small dessin, we can start our talk. First, how can we define the term of intelligence? In French or in English, intelligence is not the same meaning. Intelligence in French has a specific meaning. In English, we can have another meaning. The idea, when I will talk about the history, but I need to focus on that idea. This slide shows a small example of what could be intelligence. We talk about birds. In Japan, in a Japanese town, there is birds which understand the crosswalk sign. They know that at the red light, the car are stopping, and at the red and the green light, they are driving. They put on the road some nuts, and the car at red, they rode on the nut, and then on the red light, they come back and they eat the crushed nuts. So in this case, we have we have a demonstration of what is intelligence. These birds are really smart. So when we talk about artificial intelligence, what can we design? How can we define the question of intelligence when we talk about machines or computers? So in the case of the birds, we understand that by themselves, that they understand that cars are stopping at the red light and they are driving on the green light. If we want to talk about intelligence in the case of machine, what are we really talking about? In the case of machine, artificial intelligence, it's a question of algorithms and programs. Everything in a machine, in a computer machine, is built and designed by humans to achieve a specific purpose, to achieve a specific goal. We have a list of small activities described by the algorithm. Then the algorithm has to be translated in a language, a programmation language, which gives the possibility to the machine to do what the human wants the machine to do. And then this is the first thing we have. We do not think about the same thing. The activity of the machine has been designed by a human in this case. So we talk about algorithms and programs. So, ça marche pas bien. So now, why do we talk very about artificial intelligence now? We talk about because there are some events or remarkable events. First, the first time artificial intelligence is its old term. It comes from the 50s. But at the end of the 90s, there is first event when Garry Kasparov has been, when the computer from IBM have win the chess party at the end of the 80s. Then there is a second event when the machine AlphaGo wins the party of Go against Lee Sedol. And we have two cases of when a man has been a machine has win against a man. First, there is the deeper blue was a very big machine at the end of the 80s, built of many processors and many people we are working on the machine. And in the second case, AlphaGo is not only a small machine, a small computer. It's many computers in a network, and the many computers will be organized and programmed by a big team of programmers and engineers, and then with a big team of programmers which constitute the project of AlphaGo. It's not one small computer and one human which fight together. It's one big team with big machine in a network which fight a man, a small man, and the idea is not, we are not in a equitable challenge. So the second aspect, the reality, that if we change something, we have the machine have win, but if we change only a small parameter, the Go chess is built of a matrix of 19 by 19 lines and rows. If you change the number of lines and the number of rows, AlphaGo cannot play. If one of us, change the chess and we change the number of lines and rows, we can play, the machine not. So there is a very big difference between us, which can adapt, which can understand there is a small change in the conditions of the game. If we give this change to the machine, to the computer, to the program, we have to rebuild everything and we have to retrain the machine with many parties of play. So the reality of the artificial intelligence is that we have machine with artificial intelligence. It's only a question of learning machine. We have machines that now train to learn to play Go, to play chess, to drive cars, to understand or to read a text or to recognize face on image. But the machine and artificial intelligence, it's only a question of learning machine. We cannot talk about intelligence in the question of computers. So, one small example to make you understand what we are talking about. In the 50s, there will be a project which is called Menace. The project is based on the principle of learning machine. This Menace is a set of matchbox, and this machine, we can see the picture, is able to play morpion in French, tic-tac-toe in English. We have as matchbox, as configuration of the play, in many configuration of the play of the tic-tac-toe parties. And using that, you have inside each matchbox, we have small balls. Each ball corresponds to a place on the matrix of the play. And if you play with against this machine, first you win because it's the first party, but we can train this machine to win against me. How we can do that? We can select which are the best playing and eliminate all the worst playing. And then after 3 iterations, you lost again this set of matchbox. And we can, by this demonstration, we can see that we can understand that here we have some matchbox. It's a machine. It's not a computer, but something built by the man. And today, most of the computers and artificial intelligence principle are based on that principle. It's only reinforcement learning. We can give to the machine what are the best party, and we can eliminate or minimize the worst party. And then after many training, we can build a system, a big system, which is able to win again a man. So we can see that everything is summarized by this example, as this example has been made by the people we worked in the 50s with Alan Turing, which has made and written many papers. And when he explains that we cannot talk about intelligence, we can talk only about learning machine. And this is the reality. And then we can say that IA is a myth. And this small phrase is coming from someone you have in your pocket. This is Dijkstra. Dijkstra has made the algorithm which is based on our GPS. And he said, what does he say? That we cannot think about a thinking ordinator, a thinking computer, because it's the same funny thing if we think about a submarine is able to swim. We cannot talk about intelligence inside computer as we cannot talk that a submarine is able to swim. It's the same. He said that it's the same idea. We cannot talk about intelligence inside computer. So that's just fun. Just a funny image. So maybe sometime in the future, a computer will be able to have recommendation, and this recommendation will be able to give us something which has a sort of intuition, sort of critical aspect of many things. And the example of a music programmation could be interesting. So in French, we keep this term of IA. In French, we cannot, in my lab, we prefer using the term of informatique anthropique. Anthropique in computing in English, it do not fit, but the idea is not to have artificial intelligence, but to have computer-based program which are able to imitate the human intelligence, the human way of thinking, of critics, of demonstrating. This is a way to eliminate the confusion between these terms, and also to re-give a way to explain what is the reality of this machine. So today, artificial intelligence is that machine learning, which has many way of application. This is that. We can find a learning machine in your smartphone. We can find learning machine in the self-drive cars and so on. Learning machine is everywhere. So the first thing that we have to eliminate from our discussion that it is not because I am able to make very big calculation, very big computation that I am and the machine are intelligent. Alors, the question of the creation, arts. You have seen in the press, we can see that many events show that someone has made with artificial intelligence of some painting, we have creating poems, text, and so on. But what are we talking about when we try to talk about the link between artificial intelligence and art? So, first, creativity. Creativity is a way of. We need time. Creativity is based on time. It's based on work, on the experience. I am able to create if I am in the capacity to have an experience, and this experience need time. And when I am introduced in my practice this experience, maybe I will be able to create. This word is coming from a very interesting book from Matthew B. Crawford. It's called in French, L'éloge du carburateur. I recommend it for you. So, but there are many experiments we can but we can have have a look. We can talk not IA and art, but we have another term. It's GAN art. GAN is why it's a generative adversarial network. It's a neural networks. Many of the experiments in creative art using by learning machine is based on this specific class of neural network. And this is the reason why we talk about GAN art. And this class of algorithm has been developed by someone in Stanford University in California. This is the core of the many of the development in art and learning machine. So what are we, what is about? For example, we have seen, maybe you have seen in the press, the painting Bellamy. Remember the painting which has been sold by Christie's many months ago. But this painting has been made because we have introduced in the computer, in this neural network, about more than 10 or 15,000 paintings from the 4th and 5th centuries. They have reading. All these paintings have been used as training painting to produce something new, which is the painting which called Bellamy. And then we have, and how it works, there is two neural networks. One produced the paint, and the other try to understand or try to discriminate it. Is it able to be recognized as a possible paint? We have an exchange between two neural networks, and when they are agree, then the two neural networks are agree, okay, it will be okay, this production could be considered that a new paint, then we can extract the machine, the computer, produce the paint. And we have this painting here, but we can produce many things. We can produce by this program, we can produce people that do not exist. This picture then is someone who do not exist. Is a face which comes by many other pictures of faces, and we can build, using this discussion and then discrimination between these two neural networks, a new face which will not belong to anybody. So we have the possibility to produce something, but it is art. Is it art? My question is, my answer is no. We have a tool which is based on neural network, using many influences, and which is produced something which is a result of a discrimination between two neural networks, which are programs made by humans. The other example is come from Microsoft, which is we has made the next Rembrandt using the same kind of class of algorithm. And then, using that, this process is only based on mathematical discrimination. It's only based on the resolution we can make in some criteria which gives a distance between the production and the way of the second neural network is able to understand it. Okay. So we can say that using this kind of, and I said that this kind of production or artistic production is a trick. It's a funny thing, or something which can make us can see it as a specificity, or something which is new but not so new, using computering calculation. Another example which could be interesting, say, it has been by a man which has, Ross Goodwin has equipped his car with many sensors, and he has traveled from Chicago to the New Orleans. These sensors are taking many things, pictures, sounds, videos, and so on. And he has written a book. This book has been written by the same kind of process, this same kind of algorithm, the GAN algorithm. And then he has written a book which is called One the Road, based on the same principle that the road of Jack Kerouac. that it's only a car which has been written, this book, using many sensors. But first, all the machine has been trained by using many classical of the American literature about road novels and so on. He has been trained. He has understand what is a road novel, and then using many information from his sensor, he has written this text, which has been also printed in a world as Jacques Kerouac has made when he written The Road. Then we can say that understanding that the man is always that here. The man is always now, and machine cannot fight in the field of intelligence with the humankind. Creativity is not a question of programming. Creativity cannot be a question of programming because there are many theoretical problems. First, the question of the complexity. Creating it's very complex process, and to build a program which is able to create has to solve the problem of the complexity of Kolmogorov. It's a Russian mathematician, and the two examples are the following. The first chain is based on a repeatable small chain, and we can make it by a program, and this program is small. But the second chain is a randomly character which builds the chain, and to build that, we can have a program which is more heavy, more long, and then this second chain is more complex than the first one. So if we go in a complexity or growing complexity, we need to understand that the program will be complex and more complex. So first, the problem is a question of complexity. The second is a question of one of this problem. This problem is one of the millennium mathematical problem from the Clay Institute. We cannot, at this moment, we are not able to demonstrate this problem, and P equals NP. And this problem, at this moment, if we can solve that, it's a question of complexity of the algorithm. In this moment, we are not able to demonstrate it in a mathematical way. And this problem, if one day we are able to demonstrate it, will give us the information that maybe, potentially, machines, computer, will be able to have a place in the creativity, creation, and research. So, at this moment, this theoretical problem is not solved. The third aspect is the experience, the living in the world, living with my body, living in this environment which we are sharing. For example, we take this small chart, is Newton, and understanding the world need to be who we are. We can see that counting is based on our fingers. So numbers are linked on what we are, us as human body. So the experiment, the living inside the world, give us the possibility to understand and to create inside the world. And then the last aspect is the question of undecidability or decidability. I take a small example. When your computer we have the road, the small world, and he cannot decide what is now want to do. And you need to do on the Windows computer, Control-Alt-Sup, or to shut it down. What is about? The computer has not the possibility to decide what the next activity he has to do. He has many possibilities, and it is not possible for him to decide, this is the appropriate decision I have to make. And then, me, as human, I can do that. I can, for example, if I go in a supermarket, I have many yogurts in the supermarket, I can put myself in face, and I cannot decide. But in a moment, I will say, I choose that. I can extract myself from the problem. I can decide that this is the problem. I take a way up, and I can have a look on what is the problem, and make the appropriate decision. Computer is not able to do that. Computer cannot do that. Computer cannot decide by going a step up and have a look on the problem is inside. It cannot decide what is important to do in this context. It has been demonstrated by another mathematician, which is Gödel. Gödel has shown that in everything we can do as human, every principle we can organize, it could be something which is undecidable. And we are really in this kind of problem. So I recommend you to have a look on the book of Douglas Hofstadter, which has written a book which is called in French Les brins d'une guirlande éternelle. And it demonstrates this question of undecidability inside systems, or formal systems of the humanity. And then my last question will be the computational subjectivities. What are we when we are able now to give to computer our freedom? Today we can see if you are on Netflix, if you have a playlist on your computer, you ask some agent to decide what is the best resource you can see, you can watch, you can listen. What are we when our freedom has been given to a computer, to the programming computer, which has been programmed by other humans, and programming or algorithm are including some specific dimension, some politics dimension. So what are we when we consider that the machine is smart as us, and where is our capacity to be creative, to be free, and to be sensitive? So my last slide as this is a small story to refocus on what is, from my side, the main important aspect is us. This is a small story which a man is an explorer in the Amazonian forest. And this explorer, at the moment to pass the night, his guide said, if you sleep on the back, not sleep on your front. And then, if you sleep on the back, if a lion is coming, you can see him in the eyes, and he can see you in the eyes as another living which is able to see him. If you sleep on the front, he will see only meat, and he will eat you. So, what is important in this small example, that the other is important. The way that the other see you matter. So if we consider that artificial intelligence is the solution, we forget that the most important thing is to see in the other, in the living experience, in the eye of the other, the fact that we are human. If we forget that, yes, we will have many artificial intelligence in every sector of our lives, but maybe we will lost something. And my last example is the one. This painting come from many years, and the man in this cave were same as us. There was not something, no artificial artifact. It's only creativity. We do not have to forget that everything we create needs to be from us. Artificial intelligence is only a tool, not so much, and intelligence in computer is not appropriate word. Thank you. And I'm sorry for my very bad English.